Rain hammered against the grimy subway window as Arya Thompson slumped in her seat, phone pressed to her ear. Her natural hair was pulled into a messy bun, her designer work clothes wrinkled from a brutal 14-hour shift. Thunder rumbled overhead. I swear to God, Tasha, if one more person asks me to redo their entire marketing pitch at 9 p.m. on a Friday, I'm going to lose it, Arya said, her voice cracking with exhaustion. Her best friend Tasha's face appeared on the FaceTime screen, frozen mid-laugh as the connection glitched. Girl, you need to relax, Tasha said through choppy audio. When's the last time you did something fun? Something wild? Arya rolled her eyes. Wild? Tasha, I'm about to go home, eat leftover pizza, and pass out. That's my Friday. Boring. You know what you need? You need to feel sexy again. Remember that red lingerie set I got you for your birthday? Arya blushed. The one I've never worn? Yeah, it's still in the box. Put it on. Take a picture. Send it to me. I want proof you're still a woman under all that corporate stress. Arya laughed, the first real laugh all day. The subway lurched to a stop. Fine, but only because I love you. And because wine. She hung up and stepped into the rain. Her apartment building loomed ahead. Old, but nice. West Side. Expensive. She buzzed herself in, already imagining that glass of wine waiting for her. Inside her small but tastefully decorated apartment, Arya kicked off her heels and poured a dangerously full glass of red wine. She stared at the lingerie box on her bed. This is ridiculous, she muttered. But she smiled. She needed this. She changed, looking in the mirror, and for the first time in months, she saw herself. Really saw herself. The red lace fit perfectly. Her curves, her confidence, slowly returning. She snapped a photo. Checked it. Deleted it. Tried again. Finally, perfect. She sent it and flopped onto her bed, grinning, waiting for Tasha's reaction. Her phone buzzed. But it wasn't Tasha. The message read, "Keep the lingerie. I'm buying you dinner. 8 p.m. Don't be late." Arya's smile vanished. Her heart stopped. She sat up, staring at her phone like it just bit her. No, 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 she whispered. She frantically scrolled up and checked the contact. Her stomach dropped. The name on the screen read, Mr. Han, West Properties. A number she'd saved months ago when her building's heating broke. A maintenance contact. Someone she'd never actually met. Panicking, she typed fast, "I am so sorry. That was meant for someone else. Please delete it. I'm mortified." She hit send and held her breath. 3 dots appeared immediately. Why would I delete it? You look incredible. Arya's blood ran cold. Her hands shaking, she typed, "This isn't funny. Please just forget this happened." "I don't forget beautiful things, Arya." Her breath caught. He knew her name. "How do you know my name? You're in Unit 14C, aren't you?" Terror flooded through her. She jumped off her bed and ran to her door, checking the lock. Chain. Deadbolt. Everything. Her phone buzzed again. This time, it was a photo. She opened it with trembling fingers. The image showed a floor-to-ceiling window overlooking the city skyline. Sleek, modern, expensive. In the reflection of the glass stood a man. Tall, broad shoulders, sharp jawline, perfectly tailored black suit. His face was partially shadowed, but she could see enough. He was devastatingly handsome. And terrifying. 8 p.m. I'll send a car. We're something elegant. You won't regret it. Arya's hands shook so badly, she almost dropped her phone. She immediately blocked the number. Her phone buzzed. Different number. Blocking me won't work, Arya. But I respect your fear. Sleep well. Tomorrow we'll talk. Arya threw her phone across the room. It landed on the couch. She backed into the corner of her bedroom, chest heaving, mind racing. What the hell did I just do? She whispered to herself. If you're already hooked, don't forget to subscribe to Endless Love Stories, because this is only the beginning. Morning came, but Arya hadn't slept. Dark circles shadowed her eyes as she sat at her kitchen table, coffee in hand, phone face down. She was on FaceTime with Tasha again. Wait, 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 back up. You sent the photo to who? Tasha said, eyes wide. Some guy named Mr. Han. Or at least that's what I thought his name was. I saved the number months ago for building stuff. But now, Tasha, he knows where I live. He knows my apartment number. He sent me a photo of some penthouse, and he looks like what? Arya's voice broke. Like he could ruin my life and look good doing it. Tasha was silent for a beat, then grabbed her laptop. Give me the number. I'm doing a reverse search. Arya rattled it off. Tasha typed furiously. Then her face went pale. Arya. What? You need to sit down. I'm already sitting. Then hold on to something. This number? It's registered to a property management company, but not a normal one. It's linked to a penthouse in the Platinum Tower. You know, the one that sold for $45 million last year. Arya felt numb. Okay, Arya, there are rumors about that place. About who owns it. What kind of rumors? Tasha hesitated, then swallowed hard. Korean Mafia. Silence. The words hung in the air like a bomb. Arya laughed weakly. You're joking. I wish I was. There's a whole Reddit thread about it. People saying the owner's connected to some underground network. Money laundering. Protection rackets. Even. Stop. Just stop. You're scaring me. Arya cut her off. Good. You should be scared. Block him. Don't respond. And maybe stay at my place for a few days. Arya nodded, but her mind was spinning. She ended the call and stared at her phone. Then, a knock at her door. Her entire body froze. Another knock. Firmer this time. Ms. Thompson, I need to speak with you. A deep male voice said from outside. Arya's heart hammered. She tiptoed to the peephole and looked through. A man stood there. Early 30s. Black suit. Earpiece. Hands clasped in front of him. Professional. Intimidating. Clearly a bodyguard. Who are you? Arya asked, her voice shaking. My name is Ji-Hune. I work for Mr. Kang. He asked me to deliver a message. I don't know any Mr. Kang. You sent him a photo last night. He'd like to meet you. Tonight. 8 p.m. A car will be waiting downstairs. Arya's voice grew louder, defensive. I'm not going anywhere. That photo was a mistake. Tell your boss to leave me alone. Silence. Then, Mr. Kang thought you might say that. So he asked me to give you this. A white envelope slid under her door. Arya stared at it like it was a snake. Finally, she picked it up and opened it. Inside was a handwritten note on expensive cardstock. Arya, I'm not a monster. I'm just a man who's intrigued. Give me 1 hour. If you hate me, you'll never hear from me again. I promise. JH. Beneath the note was a black card with embossed gold lettering. A phone number. And a name. Kang Ji-Hune. Arya's hands trembled. She looked back at the door. The bodyguard was gone. She paced her apartment, phone in hand, and dialed Tasha. He sent a bodyguard to my door. What? Tasha screamed through the phone. Arya, call the police. And say what? A hot guy I accidentally texted wants to take me to dinner? They'll laugh me out of the precinct. Then don't go. Simple. But what if he doesn't stop? What if this gets worse? Or what if you go and he's a psycho? Arya stopped pacing and looked at the note again. He said 1 hour. If I hate him, he'll leave me alone. You actually believe that? I don't know, but I think I have to find out. Because if I don't, I'll be looking over my shoulder forever. Tasha groaned. Fine, but I'm tracking your location. And if you're not back by 10 p.m., I'm calling the FBI, the CIA, and Olivia Pope. Arya laughed, weak but real. Deal. She's walking into the lion's den, and she knows it. Subscribe to Endless Love Stories to see what happens next. Arya stood in front of her closet for 20 minutes, her heart racing. What do you wear to meet a potential mafia boss? Something elegant, he'd said, but not too elegant. She didn't want to look like she was trying to impress him, but not too casual either, because something told her showing up in jeans would be a mistake. She finally settled on a black midi dress. Simple, sophisticated, the kind of dress that said, I'm here, but I'm not happy about it. At 7:45 p.m., her phone buzzed. The car is downstairs, Miss Thompson. Arya's stomach twisted. She grabbed her purse, checked that Tasha had her location, and took one last look in the mirror. Her reflection stared back, scared, curious, and trying desperately to look brave. You can do this, she whispered. 1 hour. That's it. She walked downstairs and stepped outside. A sleek black Mercedes waited at the curb, engine purring. Ji-Hune stood beside it, opening the rear door. Miss Thompson, he said with a slight bow. Arya hesitated, then slid inside. The interior smelled like leather and expensive cologne. Ji-Hune closed the door and got into the driver's seat. They drove in silence through the city. Arya watched the streets blur past, her mind racing. Every stoplight felt like a countdown. Every turn brought her closer to something she couldn't take back. After 15 minutes, The car pulled up to a building she recognized immediately, the Platinum Tower. The one Tasha had mentioned. $45 million. Korean Mafia. Her hands went cold. Shin-ho opened her door. Mr. Kang is waiting on the top floor. The private elevator will take you directly to him. Arya stepped out, her heels clicking against the marble lobby floor. Everything here screamed money. The kind of money that didn't ask questions. The kind of money that made problems disappear. She stepped into the elevator. The doors closed. The floor numbers climbed. 50, 51, 52. Until finally, the elevator stopped at the penthouse level. The doors opened, and Arya forgot how to breathe. The penthouse was massive. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the entire city, the skyline glittering like diamonds against the night sky. Modern furniture. Soft lighting. A grand piano in the corner. Everything was perfect. Too perfect. And standing by the window, hands in his pockets, was him. Kang Ji-Hune. He turned, and Arya's heart slammed against her ribs. He was even more devastating in person. Tall, at least 6'3". Broad shoulders. Sharp, tailored black suit that fit him like a second skin. His face was all hard angles and dangerous beauty, strong jawline, full lips, piercing dark eyes that seemed to see straight through her. His black hair was styled back, clean and precise. But it was his presence that truly unnerved her. He didn't move like other men. He moved like someone who owned every room he walked into. Someone who was used to people bending to his will. Arya, he said, his voice deep, smooth, with just a hint of a Korean accent. You came. She stood frozen by the elevator, gripping her purse like a lifeline. I didn't have much of a choice. A small smile played at his lips. You always have a choice. You could have stayed home. You could have called the police. But you didn't. Maybe I'm just here to tell you to leave me alone. Maybe, he said, walking toward her slowly. Or maybe you're curious. He stopped a few feet away, close enough that she could smell his cologne, woodsy, warm, intoxicating. Close enough that she had to tilt her head back to meet his eyes. You're scared of me, he said softly. It wasn't a question. Shouldn't I be? His eyes darkened. Probably. Silence stretched between them, heavy and charged. Then he stepped back and gestured toward the dining area. I promised you dinner. Come. Arya hesitated, then followed him. A table was set by the window, candles, wine, 2 plates of food that looked like it came from a Michelin star restaurant. Ji-Hune pulled out her chair. She sat, still tense, still ready to bolt. He sat across from her and poured her a glass of wine. You're wondering why I brought you here. That's one of about 100 questions I have. He smiled, a real smile this time, and it transformed his face. For a moment, he didn't look dangerous. He looked almost human. Ask me anything, he said. I'll answer honestly. Arya swallowed. Who are you? Really? My name is Kang Ji-Hune. I own several properties in this city, including this building and yours. I run let's call it an import-export business. Import-export, Arya repeated flatly. That's code for something illegal, isn't it? He didn't flinch. Yes. Her stomach dropped. So the rumors are true. You're in the Mafia. I prefer organized business, but yes. My family has been involved in this world for 3 generations. I inherited the position when my father died. Arya's hands trembled. She set down her wine glass before she dropped it. And you're just telling me this? Why? Because you asked. And because I don't want to lie to you. You don't even know me. Not yet, he said quietly. But I'd like to. Arya stared at him, her mind spinning. This is insane. You realize that, right? I accidentally sent you a photo, and now I'm having dinner with a criminal. A criminal who finds you fascinating. Why? She demanded. Because of some stupid picture? No. He leaned forward, his eyes locked on hers. Because of what you did after. You didn't beg. You didn't panic and offer me money or favors. You got angry. You stood your ground. Even now, sitting here, you're not trying to flirt or manipulate me. You're just real. Arya felt heat rise to her cheeks. That doesn't explain why you went through all this trouble. I'm a man who gets what he wants, Arya. And the moment I saw your photo, the moment I read your messages, the fire in them, the honesty, I knew I wanted to know you. Not possess you. Not control you. Know you. His words hung in the air, sincere and terrifying all at once. You're out of your mind, Arya whispered. Probably, he agreed. But I meant what I said in my note. 1 hour. If you hate me, if you want nothing to do with me, I'll leave you alone. You'll never hear from me again. I promise you that. Arya searched his face for lies, for manipulation. But all she saw was raw honesty. And if I don't hate you? She asked carefully. Ji-Hune's lips curved into a slow, devastating smile. Then we'll have dessert. Despite everything, despite the fear, despite the insanity of the situation, Arya felt a laugh bubble up in her chest. It escaped before she could stop it. Ji-Hune's smile widened. There it is. I was hoping to hear that, she said, shaking her head. I've been called worse. They ate. And somewhere between the appetizer and the main course, Arya realized something terrifying. She was actually enjoying herself. Ji-Hune wasn't what she expected. He was intelligent, well-read, funny in a dry, subtle way. He asked about her job, her family, her dreams. And he actually listened. Not the fake listening men did while waiting for their turn to talk. Real listening. He asked follow-up questions. He remembered details. When she mentioned she'd wanted to be a writer before corporate life swallowed her whole, his eyes lit up. What stopped you? He asked. Life. Bills. Reality, she said with a sad smile. You can't pay rent with poetry. You could if someone believed in you enough to invest in your talent. Arya's breath caught. Are you offering to be my patron? I'm saying that dreams shouldn't die because of money. Especially not dreams that matter. Something in his voice made her chest ache. You sound like you know what that's like. His expression darkened. I do. I wanted to be a pianist once. My father said it was a waste. That I needed to focus on the family business. So I gave it up. That's the piano in the corner, isn't it? He nodded. I haven't played in years. Why not? Because every time I sit down at it, I remember everything I gave up. Arya's heart twisted. For the first time, she saw past the dangerous exterior, past the Mafia boss persona. She saw a man carrying regrets. A man trapped by expectations. Play for me, she said softly. He looked at her, surprised. What? Play something. Anything. I want to hear it. For a long moment, he just stared at her. Then he stood and walked to the piano. He sat down, his fingers hovering over the keys. And then he played. The music that filled the penthouse was hauntingly beautiful, melancholy and powerful and achingly vulnerable. Arya watched his hands move across the keys, watched his face soften, watched years of walls come down with every note. When he finished, silence blanketed the room. Arya realized she was crying. Ji-Hune looked up and saw her tears. He stood and crossed to her, pulling out a handkerchief. I'm sorry, he said quietly. I didn't mean to make you sad. You didn't, Arya whispered, taking the handkerchief. That was the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. He crouched in front of her, his eyes searching hers. You're not what I expected either, Arya Thompson. What did you expect? Someone I could charm and forget. Instead, I found someone I can't stop thinking about. Her breath hitched. Ji-Hune. I know this is crazy, he said. I know I'm not a good man. I know my world is dangerous. But I need you to know something. He reached up and gently wiped a tear from her cheek. I will never hurt you. And I will never let anyone else hurt you. That's a promise. Arya's heart was racing. Every logical part of her brain screamed to run. But her heart, her stupid, traitorous heart, was whispering something different. Your hour's almost up, she said quietly. I know. And I should hate you. You should. But I don't. Ji-Hune's eyes blazed. Say that again. I don't hate you, Arya whispered. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I don't. He stood slowly, pulling her to her feet. They stood inches apart, the air between them crackling with tension. Then stay, he said, his voice rough. Not for the night. Just for dessert. And maybe a conversation. Let me prove to you that this isn't insane. That what I'm feeling isn't just in my head. Arya knew she should say no. She knew she should walk away, get in that elevator, and never look back. But when she opened her mouth, what came out was, okay, dessert. Ji-Hune's smile could have lit up the entire city. And Arya realized with terrifying clarity, she was in so much trouble. Subscribe to Endless Love Stories, because Arya just made a choice that will change everything. Dessert was chocolate lava cake with vanilla ice cream, plated like art. But Arya barely tasted it. She was too aware of Ji-Hune watching her, too conscious of how the candlelight caught the sharp planes of his face, too distracted by the way his presence seemed to fill every corner of the room. You're quiet, he said, setting down his fork. I'm processing, Arya admitted. 2 hours ago, I thought you were going to kill me. Now I'm eating cake with you, and it feels normal. Which is the least normal thing about any of this? Ji-Hune's lips twitched. Would it help if I acted more threatening? It would help if you were less charming. I'll work on that, he said, clearly not meaning it at all. Arya shook her head, a reluctant smile breaking through. How are you so calm about all of this? Doesn't it bother you that I know what you do? His expression grew serious. Most people in my world either fear me or want something from me. You're the first person in years who's looked at me like I'm just a man. Not a boss. Not a monster. Just Ji-Hune. He paused. Do you know how rare that is? I'm looking at you like that because I don't know any better, Arya said. I don't know your reputation. I don't know what you've done. Maybe if I did, you'd run, he finished quietly. You'd be smart too. Then why are you trying so hard to make me stay? Ji-Hune was silent for a long moment, his dark eyes holding hers. Because I'm tired, Arya. Tired of being alone in a room full of people. Tired of conversations that don't matter. Tired of waking up in this penthouse and feeling nothing. He leaned forward. And then you sent me that photo. This beautiful, confident, real woman. And for the first time in years, I felt something. Curiosity. Interest. Hope. Arya's throat tightened. That's a lot of pressure to put on someone you just met. I know. And I'm sorry. But I promised you honesty. She believed him. That was the problem. Everything he said felt true, and it terrified her. Tell me about your world, she said suddenly. If we're being honest, I need to know what I'd be getting into. Ji-Hune sat back, his jaw tightening. It's not a world I'd wish on anyone. There are rules, hierarchies, debts that can never be repaid. Loyalty is everything, and betrayal is met with consequences you don't want to imagine. I manage territories, settle disputes, make sure money flows where it needs to. Sometimes that means making hard choices. Sometimes it means getting my hands dirty. Have you killed people? The question came out before Arya could stop it. His eyes didn't waver. Yes. The single word hung between them like a grenade. Arya's hands went cold. How many? Enough that I stopped counting. He leaned forward, his voice low and intense. But I've never killed anyone who didn't deserve it. I don't hurt innocents. I don't prey on the weak. The people I've eliminated were threats to my family, my people, or to innocent lives. I'm not asking you to approve. I'm just telling you the truth. Arya should have been horrified. She should have stood up and walked out. But something in his voice, in his eyes, told her he wasn't proud of it. He was carrying it like a weight. Do you regret it? She asked quietly. Some of them. Others, no. Because if I hadn't acted, good people would have died. He paused. I know what I am, Arya. I'm not going to pretend to be something I'm not. But I will tell you this. The man sitting across from you right now is the real me. Not the boss. Not the enforcer. Just me. Arya's head was spinning. This was insane. She was sitting across from a killer, a criminal, someone who operated outside every law she'd ever respected. And yet, why do I believe you, she whispered. Because you're smart enough to recognize honesty when you hear it. They sat in silence, the weight of the conversation settling over them. Finally, Arya spoke. I can't promise you anything, Ji-Hune. I can't promise I won't wake up tomorrow and realize this was the stupidest decision of my life. But, she took a breath. I'm willing to see you again. As long as you keep your world separate from mine. As long as you promise me I'm safe. Ji-Hune's eyes blazed with something fierce and grateful. You have my word. My world will never touch you. And as for safety, Arya, you're the safest person in this city right now. Because anyone who even thinks about hurting you will have to go through me first. The intensity in his voice sent shivers down her spine. Okay then, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. One more date. Let's see what happens. Ji-Hune stood and extended his hand. Let me show you something. Arya hesitated, then took his hand. His fingers closed around hers. Warm, strong, surprisingly gentle. He led her to the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. This is my favorite view, he said. When everything gets too heavy, I stand here and remind myself that the world is bigger than my problems. That somewhere out there, people are falling in love, having their first kiss, making memories that will last forever. It helps me remember what I'm protecting. Arya looked at him, really looked at him. Beneath the dangerous exterior, beneath the power and the darkness, was someone searching for light. You're not what I expected, she said softly. Neither are you. He turned to face her, still holding her hand. When can I see you again? I don't know. I need time to think. Tomorrow. Lunch. Somewhere public if it makes you feel safer. Just 1 hour. Arya laughed despite herself. You don't give up, do you? Not when something matters. She should say no. She should create distance, give herself time to think clearly. But looking into his eyes, seeing the vulnerability beneath the strength, she found herself nodding. Lunch. Tomorrow. But somewhere normal. No penthouses, no bodyguards. Deal. Ji-Hune smiled, and it transformed his entire face. I know a small cafe in Brooklyn. Best kimchi pancakes in the city. My mother used to take me there when I was a kid. Your mother? Arya was surprised. Somehow she hadn't imagined him having a normal family life. His expression softened. She passed away 5 years ago. Cancer. She was the only person who ever saw past all of this. He gestured vaguely at the penthouse, at himself. She wanted me to be happy, to find someone who could make me laugh, someone who could remind me I'm human. Arya's heart clenched. I'm sorry you lost her. So am I. He squeezed her hand gently. But I think she would have liked you. You have her fire. They stood there, hands joined, the city lights glittering below them. And for just a moment, the world fell away. There was no mafia, no danger, no impossible complications. Just two people, connected by an accidental text, and something neither of them could name yet. I should go, Arya said finally. It's late. I'll have Chin-Ho drive you home. Thank you. For dinner. For being honest. For not being a complete psychopath. Ji-Hune laughed. A real, warm laugh that made him look years younger. The bar is incredibly low, but I'll take the compliment. At the elevator, Ji-Hune kept hold of her hand. Text me when you get home, so I know you're safe. You're not going to have someone follow me, are you? I'm trying very hard not to, he admitted. But I can't promise my protective instincts won't win. Try harder, Arya said firmly. I mean it, Ji-Hune. I need to feel like I have control over my own life. His eyes searched hers, then he nodded. You're right. I'm sorry. No one will follow you. You have my word. Good. She stepped into the elevator, then turned back. And Ji-Hune? Thank you for playing for me. It meant something. His expression grew soft. It did to me too. The elevator doors closed, and Arya leaned against the wall, her heart racing. She pulled out her phone and saw 17 missed calls from Tasha. The moment she was in the car, she called her back. Oh my God, you're alive. Tasha shrieked. I was literally about to call the National Guard. What happened? Are you okay? Did he hurt you? I'm fine, Arya said. More than fine, actually. What does that mean? Arya, you're scaring me. It means. Arya took a breath. It means I'm seeing him again tomorrow. Silence. Then, have you lost your damn mind? Probably, Arya admitted. But Tasha, he's not what we thought. I mean, yes, he's dangerous. Yes, he's in the Mafia. But he's also human, vulnerable, real. And I know it sounds crazy, but I need to see where this goes. This is how people end up on true crime podcasts. Tasha said, this is how you become a headline. Or maybe, Arya said quietly, this is how I finally feel something again. After Marcus, after that whole disaster, I've been numb for 2 years. And tonight, sitting with Ji-Hune, I felt alive. I felt seen. I felt like maybe I could breathe again. Tasha was quiet for a long moment. Marcus was an asshole who didn't deserve you. I know. And if this Korean mafia boss breaks your heart, I'm flying to Seoul and burning down his entire operation. Arya laughed through sudden tears. Deal. But seriously, babe, be careful. Please. I can't lose you. I will. I promise. When Arya got home, she texted Ji-Hune as requested. Home safe. Thanks for tonight. His response came immediately. Sweet dreams, Arya. Tomorrow can't come fast enough. She climbed into bed, her mind replaying every moment of the evening. The piano music, his honesty, the way he'd looked at her like she was the only person in the world who mattered. And as she drifted off to sleep, one thought echoed through her mind. What have I gotten myself into? But underneath the fear, underneath the doubt, was something else. Something dangerous and thrilling and impossible to ignore. Hope. This is just the beginning. Subscribe to Endless Love Stories to see what happens when Arya's two worlds collide. The next morning, Arya woke up convinced she'd dreamed the entire thing. But then she saw Ji-Hune's text on her phone, and reality came crashing back. She had a lunch date with a Mafia boss. "This is my life now," she muttered, staring at her ceiling. Her phone buzzed. "Ji-Hune, good morning. The cafe is called Halmiani's Kitchen. I'll meet you there at noon. No driver, no bodyguards. Just me." Arya smiled despite her nerves. He was trying. That had to count for something. She spent 2 hours getting ready, changing outfits 4 times before settling on jeans and a soft cream sweater. Casual. Normal. Like this was just a regular date with a regular guy. Except nothing about this was regular. Halmiani's Kitchen was tucked between a laundromat and a bookstore in a quiet Brooklyn neighborhood. The kind of place you'd walk past without noticing. Arya pushed open the door and was immediately hit with the smell of garlic, ginger, and something sweet. And there he was. Ji-Hune sat in a corner booth, and Arya's breath caught. He looked different in daylight, wearing dark jeans and a simple black sweater instead of a suit. His hair was slightly less styled, falling across his forehead. He looked younger, more approachable, more dangerous to her heart. He stood when he saw her, and that devastating smile spread across his face. "You came. You sound surprised. I wasn't sure you wouldn't change your mind." He gestured to the seat across from him. "I ordered us tea. The owner's grandmother used to make it special for my mother." Arya slid into the booth, and an elderly Korean woman appeared almost immediately, setting down 2 steaming cups and beaming at Ji-Hune. "Egu Ji-Hune, you brought a girl," she said in heavily accented English, clapping her hands together. "Finally, your Amma would be so happy." Ji-Hune's ears turned red. "Halmiani, please. She's beautiful. You better treat her right, or I'll hit you with my wooden spoon like when you were little." Arya couldn't help but laugh as the old woman shuffled away, muttering happily in Korean. "I'm sorry about that," Ji-Hune said, rubbing the back of his neck. "She's known me since I was 5. She has no filter. Don't apologize. It's sweet." Arya wrapped her hands around the warm cup. "She really threatened to hit you with a spoon?" "She actually did it once when I was 7. I tried to steal extra hotioc from the kitchen." He smiled at the memory. "My mother laughed so hard she cried." Arya saw something soften in his eyes when he mentioned his mother, and her heart squeezed. "You miss her?" "Every day." He looked down at his tea. "She was the only one who saw me as more than just the heir to the family business. To her, I was just her son. The kid who loved piano music and secretly read poetry books." "Poetry?" He looked almost embarrassed. "I told you I wanted to be a writer once." "No, you said I wanted to be a writer. You said you wanted to be a pianist. I wanted to be both." "Greedy, I know." His smile turned sad. "My father called it useless dreaming. Said I needed to focus on reality." "Your father sounds like he didn't deserve you." Ji-Hune's eyes snapped to hers, surprised. "He built everything we have. The business, the power, the respect. But did he see you?" Arya interrupted gently. "Really see you? Or did he just see what he wanted you to be?" The question hung between them. Ji-Hune stared at her like she'd just unlocked something he'd kept buried for years. "No one's ever asked me that before," he said quietly. "Maybe no one's ever cared enough to ask." The intensity in his gaze made Arya's cheeks flush. She looked away, taking a sip of tea to steady herself. Halmiani returned with plates piled high with kimchi pancakes, japchae, and Korean fried chicken. "Eat, eat. You're both too skinny." For the next hour, they ate and talked. Really talked. Ji-Hune asked about Arya's family, her mother who was a nurse, her younger brother studying engineering, her father who'd passed away when she was 16. "He had a heart attack," Arya said softly. "One day he was fine, coaching my brother's basketball game. The next day he was gone. No warning. No goodbye." "I'm sorry," Ji-Hune said, and the empathy in his voice was genuine. "That kind of loss, it changes you." "It does. It made me realize how fragile everything is. How quickly the people we love can disappear." She looked at him. "Is that why you're so protective? Because you lost your mother?" "Partly. But also because in my world, everyone I care about becomes a target. My mother died of cancer, but before that, there were attempts on her life. On mine. On anyone connected to our family." His jaw tightened. "I learned early that if you love someone, you have to be willing to destroy anyone who threatens them." A shiver ran through Arya. "That's a heavy way to live." "It's the only way I know. But doesn't it get exhausting? Always being on guard." never trusting anyone. Yes, he admitted. Which is why meeting you feels like. He paused, searching for words. Like finding a door I didn't know existed. A way out of the cage I've been living in. Arya's heart pounded. Ji-Hune, I can't be your escape. That's too much pressure. And what happens when reality sets in? When you realize I'm just a regular person with a boring corporate job and student loan debt? Then I'll help you pay off your loans, he said with a slight smirk. I'm serious. So am I. He reached across the table and took her hand. Arya, I don't want you to be my escape. I want you to be my reason. There's a difference. An escape is temporary. A reason is something worth fighting for. Something worth changing for. You can't change who you are, Arya whispered. No, but maybe I can change what I do with it. Maybe I can find a way to be both. The man my family needs and the man I want to be. The man who deserves someone like you. Arya felt tears prick her eyes. You don't even know me. Then let me. That's all I'm asking. Let me know you. The good, the bad, the messy parts you hide from everyone else. And in return, I'll show you all of me. Not just the dangerous parts. All of it. She should pull her hand away. She should protect herself. But looking into his eyes, seeing the raw vulnerability there, she couldn't. Okay, she said. But we take this slow. And the moment I feel unsafe or uncomfortable, I walk away. No arguments. Agreed. His thumb brushed across her knuckles. Can I ask you something? What? Why did your last relationship end? Arya tensed. She'd been avoiding thinking about Marcus, but she supposed Ji-Hune deserved to know. His name was Marcus. We were together for 3 years. I thought we were building a life together. Then I found out he'd been cheating on me for 8 months with someone from his office. She laughed bitterly. The worst part wasn't even the cheating. It was realizing he'd stopped seeing me months before that. I was just there. Convenient. Safe. Boring. He's an idiot, Ji-Hune said flatly. Maybe. Or maybe he was right. Maybe I am boring. Arya. Ji-Hune's voice was firm. Look at me. She did. You are many things. Strong. Beautiful. Sharp as hell. But boring? Never. That man was a coward who couldn't recognize what he had. And his loss is my gain. Arya felt warmth spread through her chest. You barely know me, and you're already defending me. I know enough. I know you stood up to me when most people wouldn't dare. I know you asked real questions instead of just trying to please me. I know you saw past what I do to who I am. That tells me everything I need to know. They finished lunch, and Ji-Hune insisted on walking her to the subway. I can get home by myself, Arya protested. I know, but humor me. It's a nice day, and I'm not ready to say goodbye yet. They walked slowly through the Brooklyn streets, and Arya found herself relaxing. This felt normal, natural, like they'd done this 100 times before. Tell me something nobody knows about you, Ji-Hune said suddenly. Why? Because I want to know the real you, not the version you show the world. Arya thought for a moment. Okay, I write poetry. Bad poetry. In a journal I keep hidden in my closet. I haven't shown anyone in years because Marcus said it was childish. Will you show me someday? Maybe. If you're lucky. She smiled. Your turn. Tell me something nobody knows. Ji-Hune was quiet for a long moment. I'm afraid of becoming my father. Of turning into someone who values power over people. Someone who forgets what it's like to feel. The confession was so raw, so honest, that Arya stopped walking. Ji-Hune, I see it happening sometimes, he continued. I make a decision that keeps everyone safe but costs someone their life. And afterward, I feel nothing. Just empty. And that terrifies me more than any enemy ever could. Without thinking, Arya reached up and cupped his face. The fact that you're afraid of it means you're not him. Your father wouldn't have cared. You do. Ji-Hune's eyes closed, and he leaned into her touch like a man starved for gentleness. How do you do that? Do what? Make me feel human again. Before Arya could respond, her phone buzzed. A text from her boss. Emergency meeting. Need you in office ASAP. She groaned. I have to go. Work crisis. Ji-Hune stepped back, his expression shifting back to controlled. When can I see you again? I don't know. This week is crazy. Thursday. Dinner. I'll cook for you. You cook? My mother taught me. I'm actually not bad. He smiled. Please. Just a few hours. And if you hate my cooking, I'll order takeout and we'll pretend I'm a culinary genius. Arya laughed. Okay. Thursday. But if you poison me, I'm haunting you. Fair enough. At the subway entrance, Ji-Hune caught her hand one more time. Arya? Thank you for giving me a chance. I know I don't deserve it. Maybe you do, she said softly. Or maybe we both deserve a chance at something real. She descended into the subway, and when she looked back, he was still standing there, watching her go with an expression that made her heart ache. On the train, Arya's phone buzzed again. Ji-Hune, I'm already counting down to Thursday. Thank you for lunch. For seeing me. For everything. Arya smiled and typed back. Thank you for the best kimchi pancakes in Brooklyn. And for being real with me. As the train carried her back to Manhattan, back to her normal life, Arya realized something that both thrilled and terrified her. She was falling for him, and there was no going back. Don't miss what happens next. Subscribe to Endless Love Stories, because Thursday is going to change everything. Thursday arrived faster than Arya expected, and with it came a nervousness that settled in her stomach like butterflies on caffeine. She stood in front of her closet for the third time that evening, phone in hand, staring at the address Ji-Hune had sent her. It wasn't the penthouse. It was an address in Queens she didn't recognize. Her phone buzzed. Ji-Hune, I can feel you overthinking from here. Just come. I promise it's nothing scary. Arya smiled despite her nerves and typed back. How do you know I'm overthinking? Because I've been doing the same thing for the past hour. I've changed shirts 4 times. The image of Ji-Hune, dangerous, powerful Ji-Hune, nervously changing clothes made Arya laugh out loud. She grabbed her jacket and headed out. The address led her to a modest townhouse on a quiet residential street. Nothing like the luxury penthouse. The front garden had rose bushes that needed trimming and a small porch with 2 chairs. Before Arya could knock, the door opened. Ji-Hune stood there in dark jeans and a navy Henley, barefoot, hair slightly messy like he'd been running his hands through it. He looked more relaxed than she'd ever seen him. More real. Hi, he said, and there was something almost shy in his smile. Hi. Arya gestured around. This is not what I expected. This was my mother's house. After she died, I couldn't bring myself to sell it. Sometimes I come here when the penthouse feels too empty, too much like a cage. He stepped aside. Come in. The interior was warm and lived in. Family photos lined the walls. A young Ji-Hune with a beautiful woman who had his eyes and smile. An older man with a stern expression. Ji-Hune at various ages, playing piano, graduating, growing up. Your mother was beautiful, Arya said, stopping at a photo of Ji-Hune, maybe 16, laughing as his mother kissed his cheek. She was, and stubborn, and the strongest person I've ever known. He led Arya toward the kitchen. She fought cancer for 3 years. Never complained once. Just kept saying she needed to stay alive long enough to see me find happiness. Did she? No. She died believing I'd end up alone like my father. His voice cracked slightly. I think about that a lot. How I failed her. Arya turned to face him. You didn't fail her, Ji-Hune. You're still here. Still fighting to be more than what was expected of you. That's not failure. He looked at her like she'd just given him something precious. You keep doing that. Doing what? Saying exactly what I need to hear. The air between them grew thick with something unspoken. Ji-Hune cleared his throat and gestured to the kitchen. I should probably start cooking before I burn everything. The kitchen was cozy, with copper pots hanging above a well-used stove. Ji-Hune moved through the space with surprising grace, pulling out ingredients: beef, vegetables, rice, various sauces, and spices. I'm making bulgogi and kimchi fried rice, he explained. And before you ask, yes, I actually know what I'm doing. My mother refused to let me grow up useless in the kitchen. Can I help? You can keep me company. And maybe tell me about your week. As Ji-Hune cooked, Arya found herself relaxing. She told him about the emergency meeting that turned out to be her boss panicking over a typo in a presentation. About her brother calling to ask for money again. About Tasha's continued concern over Arya's death wish in dating him. She's not wrong to worry, Ji-Hune said, slicing beef with practiced precision. I am a risk. She also said if you hurt me, she's going to hunt you down and make you regret being born. Ji-Hune's lips curved into a smile. I like her already. She sounds fierce. She is. She's been my best friend since college. She's the one who picked up the pieces after Marcus. Then I owe her a debt of gratitude. He glanced at Arya. Without her, You might not have sent that photo. Arya groaned. Please don't remind me. I'm still mortified. Don't be. That photo changed my life. He set down the knife and turned to face her fully. I mean that, Arya. I've been sleepwalking for years, going through motions, making decisions, surviving. But that photo, your message, it woke something up in me. Made me remember what it felt like to want something. To want someone. Arya's breath caught. Ji-Hune, I'm not asking you to say it back. I just need you to know. This isn't a game to me. You're not a game to me. Before Arya could respond, something on the stove sizzled loudly. Ji-Hune cursed in Korean and turned back to rescue dinner, and the moment passed. But the weight of his words lingered. They ate at a small table by the window, and Arya had to admit, the food was incredible. The bulgogi was perfectly seasoned, tender and savory. The kimchi fried rice had just the right amount of heat. Okay, I'm impressed, Arya said. This is restaurant quality. My mother would say it's adequate at best. Ji-Hune had very high standards. Tell me more about her. What was she like? Ji-Hune's expression softened. She was light. In a world full of darkness, she was this constant source of warmth and laughter. She knew what my father did, what our family was involved in, but she chose to focus on the good, on protecting beauty instead of dwelling on ugliness. She sounds amazing. She was. Even at the end, when the cancer was eating her alive, she'd make jokes, tell stories. She'd hold my hand and say, Ji-Hune, promise me you'll find someone who makes you laugh. Someone who sees your heart, not your name. His voice grew thick. I promised her. And then she died, and I threw myself into work, into becoming exactly what my father wanted, because it was easier than feeling the loss. Arya reached across the table and took his hand. She'd be proud of you. For trying. For letting yourself feel again. I hope so. He squeezed her hand. What about your father? You said he died when you were 16. Arya nodded, the familiar ache settling in her chest. He was a mechanic. Worked with his hands his whole life. He wasn't rich or powerful, but he was good. Really good. He coached Little League, helped neighbors fix their cars for free, made my mom breakfast every Sunday. She smiled through tears. The day he died, his last words to me were, be brave, baby girl. Don't let fear make you small. And have you been brave? I thought I was. But after Marcus, after everything fell apart, I think I've been hiding. Playing it safe. Being exactly what everyone expected me to be. And now I'm having dinner with a Korean Mafia boss in his dead mother's house. And it's the most alive I've felt in years. She laughed. My dad would either be horrified or strangely proud. I like to think he'd approve, since I'm making his daughter smile. After dinner, Ji-Hune showed Arya the rest of the house. His mother's room, preserved exactly as she'd left it. The small library filled with poetry books and novels in both English and Korean. And finally, a room that made Arya's breath catch. It was a music room. A beautiful grand piano sat in the center, surrounded by shelves of sheet music. Sunlight streamed through large windows, casting everything in golden light. This is where I learned to play, Ji-Hune said quietly. My mother would sit right there, he pointed to a chair by the window, and listen for hours. She never criticized, just listened and smiled. Will you play something for me? Arya asked. Ji-Hune hesitated. I haven't played in this room since she died. It feels sacred somehow. Then maybe it's time. Arya sat in the chair by the window, the same spot his mother once occupied. She'd want you to fill this room with music again. Ji-Hune stared at her for a long moment, something raw and vulnerable crossing his face. Then he sat at the piano. His fingers touched the keys, and the first notes were hesitant. But then the music flowed, and Arya realized he was playing something different from last time. This piece was gentler, more hopeful. It spoke of loss and healing, of darkness giving way to light. Tears streamed down Arya's face as she listened. She understood now why he'd stopped playing. Music exposed him, stripped away all his defenses, and left him raw and real. When the last note faded, silence filled the room. Ji-Hune's hands remained on the keys, his shoulders tense. That was beautiful, Arya whispered. He turned to look at her, and the expression on his face nearly broke her heart. I wrote that piece the day my mother died. I've never played it for anyone. Arya stood and crossed to him. Without thinking, she wrapped her arms around him from behind, resting her cheek against his back. She felt him tense. then slowly relax into her embrace. "Thank you," she said softly, "for trusting me with that. With all of this." Ji-Hune turned in her arms, and suddenly they were face to face, so close Arya could see flecks of gold in his dark eyes. His hand came up to cup her cheek. "Arya," he breathed, "I'm trying very hard to take this slow, to be respectful. But having you here, in this house, in this room, it's taking every ounce of my control not to." "Not to what?" Arya's voice was barely a whisper. "Not to kiss you." Her heart hammered against her ribs. "Then maybe you should stop trying so hard." Something flared in Ji-Hune's eyes. Desire, need, relief. He leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull away. But Arya didn't move. Couldn't move. When his lips finally met hers, the world tilted. The kiss was gentle at first, almost reverent. But then Arya's hands fisted in his shirt, pulling him closer, and gentleness gave way to hunger. Ji-Hune's arms wrapped around her waist, lifting her slightly as he deepened the kiss. Years of loneliness and longing poured into that moment from both of them. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Ji-Hune rested his forehead against hers. "I've been wanting to do that since the moment you walked into my penthouse," he admitted. "What took you so long?" He laughed, a real, unguarded laugh that made him look years younger. "I was trying to be a gentleman." "Well, stop." Arya smiled. "I don't need a gentleman. I need you. The real you." "Arya." His voice was rough with emotion. "You have no idea what you do to me. How you make me feel. I've spent years building walls, keeping everyone at a distance. And then you crash into my life and suddenly those walls are useless." "Good," she whispered. "Because mine are falling too, and it's terrifying, but I don't want to stop it." They stood there, wrapped in each other's arms, the last rays of sunlight painting them in gold. And for the first time in years, both of them felt something they'd almost forgotten. Hope. Outside, the neighborhood settled into evening quiet. Inside, two damaged people found something they'd stopped believing in. A chance at healing, at connection, at something real. But in Ji-Hune's world, peace never lasted long. His phone buzzed. Once, twice, 3 times in rapid succession. He pulled it out, and Arya saw his expression shift from soft to hard in an instant. "What's wrong?" she asked. "I have to go." His voice had changed completely, cold, commanding. The Mafia boss was back. "There's a situation that needs my attention." "What kind of situation?" He looked at her, conflict clear in his eyes. "The kind I can't tell you about. The kind that reminds me why I shouldn't have brought you into my world." Arya's stomach dropped. "Ji-Hune, I'll have Chin-Ho take you home." "I'm sorry, Arya. I'm so sorry." He kissed her forehead quickly, already moving toward the door. "I'll call you when I can." And just like that, he was gone. Arya stood alone in the music room, the warmth of his kiss still on her lips, but a cold dread settling in her chest. Because she'd just gotten a glimpse of Ji-Hune's other life. The dangerous one. The one that could destroy everything they were building. And she realized with terrifying clarity, falling in love with him meant accepting all of it. The question was, could she? Subscribe to endless love stories. Because the danger is just beginning, and Arya's about to learn what it really means to love a man like Ji-Hune. Arya didn't hear from Ji-Hune for 3 days. 3 days of silence that felt like 3 years. She tried to focus on work, on her routine, on pretending everything was normal. But every time her phone buzzed, her heart leaped. And every time it wasn't him, disappointment crashed through her. Tasha noticed immediately. "He's ghosting you, isn't he?" Tasha said over lunch on Saturday. "I knew this would happen. He got what he wanted and..." "He's not ghosting me," Arya interrupted, though she wasn't sure she believed it herself. "He said he had a situation. Something he had to handle." "A situation that takes 3 days? Girl, that's called losing interest. You don't know him like I do. And you've known him for what? 2 weeks? Arya, listen to yourself. You're defending a man who literally disappeared after you kissed him." Arya's chest tightened because Tasha was right. She barely knew Ji-Hune. And yet, the thought of him in danger, of something happening to him, made her physically ill. "I just need to give him time," Arya said quietly. Tasha's expression softened. "Oh, honey, you're already in deep, aren't you?" Arya nodded, tears stinging her eyes. "I think I'm falling for him, Tasha. And it's stupid and reckless and probably going to destroy me, but I can't help it. Then I really hope he's worth it. Because if he breaks your heart, I'm going to need bail money. That night, Arya lay in bed staring at her phone. She'd typed and deleted a dozen messages to Ji-Hune. Are you okay? I'm worried about you. If you're done with me, just say so. But she sent none of them. Because what if he was in trouble? What if reaching out put him in more danger? At 2 a.m., her phone finally rang. Ji-Hune's name flashed on the screen. Arya answered before the second ring. Hello. Arya. His voice was rough, exhausted. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for disappearing. Are you okay? What happened? I can't tell you details. But there was a threat against one of my people. I had to handle it personally. It took longer than expected. Are you hurt? A pause. Nothing I can't handle. That's not an answer, Ji-Hune. She heard him exhale, and beneath the exhaustion, she heard pain. I have a few bruises. Maybe a cracked rib. But I'm alive, and the people I protect are safe. That's what matters. Arya's heart clenched. Where are you right now? The penthouse. I just got back. I'm coming over. Arya, it's 2 in the morning. I don't care. You're hurt and alone. I'm coming. You don't have to. Ji-Hune. Her voice was firm. Send me the address again. I'll be there in 30 minutes. Another pause. Then, quietly. Thank you. Arya threw on jeans and a sweatshirt, called an Uber, and made it to the Platinum Tower in 25 minutes. The doorman recognized her from last time and sent her straight up. When the elevator doors opened to the penthouse, she found Ji-Hune sitting on the couch, shirt off, pressing an ice pack to his ribs. His torso was a canvas of bruises, purple, black, angry red. His knuckles were split and bloody. Oh my God, Arya breathed, rushing to him. It looks worse than it is, Ji-Hune said, trying to smile. But she could see the pain in his eyes, the way he held himself carefully. Don't lie to me. She knelt in front of him, gently taking his hands to examine them. What happened? A rival group tried to move in on our territory. They took one of my men, someone I've known since we were kids. Threatened his family. I had to get him back. By yourself. I had backup, but I went in first. It's my responsibility to protect my people. I can't ask them to take risks I won't take myself. Arya looked up at him, and despite the violence, despite the brutality of his world, she saw honor, loyalty, a twisted sense of nobility that somehow made sense. Where's your first aid kit? She asked. Bathroom. But Arya, you don't have to. I know I don't have to. I want to. She stood. Don't move. She found the first aid kit, expensive, comprehensive, clearly well used, and returned to the living room. For the next hour, she cleaned his wounds, bandaged his knuckles, checked his ribs as gently as she could. Ji-Hune watched her the entire time, something soft and vulnerable in his expression. You're good at this, he said quietly. My mom's a nurse. She taught me the basics. Arya taped the last bandage. These ribs might be cracked. You should see a doctor. I have someone who handles medical things discreetly. Of course you do. She sat back on her heels. Does this happen often? You coming home beaten up? Sometimes. Not as much as when I was younger. I try to avoid violence when I can. But sometimes there's no other choice. And you're okay with that? With hurting people? Ji-Hune was quiet for a long moment. No, I'm not okay with it. But I've made peace with it. There's a difference. Arya stood and moved to sit beside him on the couch, careful not to jostle his injuries. I spent 3 days terrified that something had happened to you, that I'd never see you again. I wanted to call sooner, but I couldn't risk you getting involved. If anyone found out about you, if they thought they could use you against me, his jaw tightened. I'd burn the world down before I let anyone hurt you. That's what scares me, Arya whispered. The intensity of this. Of us. We barely know each other, but it feels like we've known each other forever, Ji-Hune finished. I know. I feel it too. He reached up and cupped her face, his bandaged hand gentle against her cheek. Arya, I need you to understand something. My world is dangerous. People die. People get hurt. And anyone I care about becomes a target. If you want to walk away, I'll understand. I'll hate it, but I'll understand. And if I don't want to walk away, then I'll do everything in my power to keep you safe. But I can't promise nothing will ever happen. I can't promise there won't be nights like this, where I disappear and can't tell you why. I can't promise you a normal life. Arya looked at him. This beautiful, broken, dangerous man who'd somehow slipped past all her defenses. She thought about Marcus, about playing it safe, about all the years she'd spent being careful. Her father's last words echoed in her mind. Be brave, baby girl. Don't let fear make you small. I don't want normal, she said finally. Normal got me a cheating ex-boyfriend and a life I didn't recognize. I want real. I want honest. I want someone who sees me and doesn't try to change me. She took his hand. I want you. Even if it's complicated. Even if it's scary. Ji-Hune's eyes closed, and when he opened them, they were bright with unshed tears. You're going to ruin me, Arya Thompson. Good. Because you're ruining me too. He pulled her closer, mindful of his injuries, and kissed her. This kiss was different from their first, slower, deeper, filled with promise and fear and desperate hope. When they broke apart, Ji-Hune rested his forehead against hers. Stay tonight. Just sleep beside me. I need to know you're real. That this is real. Okay, Arya whispered. They moved to his bedroom, enormous, minimalist, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Ji-Hune lent her one of his shirts, and they climbed into bed together. Arya curled against his uninjured side, her head on his chest, listening to his heartbeat. His arm wrapped around her, holding her close. Tell me something, Ji-Hune said into the darkness. Something true. I write poetry about people I've lost, Arya said quietly. My father. Friends who drifted away. Even Marcus, though I hate that he still takes up space in my head. Writing about them helps me let them go. Will you write about me someday? Probably. The question is whether it'll be a love poem or an elegy. Ji-Hune's chest rumbled with quiet laughter. Fair enough. He paused. Can I tell you something I've never told anyone? Always. Sometimes I dream about leaving. Just walking away from all of this. Taking a new name, moving somewhere quiet, and learning to be normal. But then I wake up and remember that hundreds of people depend on me. That if I left, everything would fall apart. People would die. Families would suffer. His voice grew thick. So I stay, and I tell myself it's enough. That duty is enough. But it's not, is it? No, it's not. Arya lifted her head to look at him. What if you didn't have to choose? What if you could find a way to be both? To honor your responsibilities and still find peace? Is that possible? I don't know, but maybe we can figure it out together. Ji-Hune pulled her closer, pressing a kiss to her forehead. How did I get so lucky? To send that photo to the wrong number and have it be you? Maybe it wasn't the wrong number, Arya said softly. Maybe it was exactly the right one. They fell asleep like that, wrapped around each other. Two broken people finding comfort in shared understanding. Outside, the city glittered with a million stories. But in that moment, in that bed, there was only theirs. When Arya woke up, sunlight was streaming through the windows. She was alone in bed, but she could hear movement in the kitchen and smell coffee. She found Ji-Hune in the kitchen, moving stiffly but making breakfast. He'd put on sweatpants but remained shirtless, his injuries stark in the morning light. You should be resting, Arya said. He turned and smiled. A real, unguarded smile that made her heart flip. I'm making you breakfast. It's the least I can do after you played nurse last night. You're going to hurt yourself more. Worth it. He poured her coffee. Remembered she took it with cream and 1 sugar. Besides, I heal fast. Stubborn Korean genetics. Arya laughed and accepted the coffee. They ate together at the kitchen island. Scrambled eggs, toast, fruit. Simple. Domestic. Perfect. I need to tell you something, Ji-Hune said as they finished. About what happened. About why I had to disappear. You said you couldn't give me details. I can't give you all of them. But you deserve to know the basics. He took a breath. The man they took is named Min-Jun. He's been with me for 10 years. His wife just had a baby. They threatened to kill his family if he didn't give up information about our operations. Did he? No. He held out for 2 days, knowing I'd come. Knowing I'd find a way. Ji-Hune's voice was fierce with pride. That's the kind of loyalty my people have. They trust me to protect them. And I can't ever betray that trust. Is his family safe now? They're in a secure location. They'll stay there until the threat is neutralized. Neutralized, Arya repeated. That's a very polite way of saying. Yes. Ji-Hune's eyes were hard. The people who took Min-Jun won't be a problem anymore. A chill ran through Arya. This was the reality of Ji-Hune's world. Violence. Death. Consequences that didn't involve courts or lawyers. Does it bother you, he asked, knowing what I've done? What I'm capable of? Arya thought carefully before answering. It should. Everything I was taught says it should. But when I look at you, I don't see a monster. I see someone trying to protect the people he loves. And maybe that makes me a terrible person, but I understand why you do what you do. Ji-Hune stared at her like she'd just given him absolution. You're not a terrible person, Arya. You're the best person I know. You need to meet better people, she joked. No, I just need to deserve you. Before Arya could respond, his phone rang. Ji-Hune glanced at the screen and his expression tightened. I have to take this. He stepped away, speaking rapidly in Korean. Arya couldn't understand the words, but she heard the tension in his voice, saw the way his shoulders tensed. When he returned, his face was grim. What's wrong? Arya asked. The situation isn't over. There are complications. He ran a hand through his hair. I'm sorry, Arya. I'm going to be dealing with this for a while. How long? I don't know. Days. Maybe longer. He crossed to her, taking her hands. But I promise you, I will call. Every day if I can. And the moment things are settled, I'm taking you away from all of this. Taking me where? Somewhere safe. Somewhere quiet. Just you and me. He kissed her softly. I want to show you that my life isn't all violence and shadows. That there's beauty in it too. I'd like that, Arya whispered. They stood there, holding each other, both knowing the moment was ending. That reality was crashing back in. Be careful, Arya said. Please. Always. Ji-Hune pressed his forehead to hers. And Arya, thank you for staying last night. For not running when you saw how broken I am. You're not broken, Ji-Hune. You're just battered. There's a difference. He smiled sadly. I really don't deserve you. Then work on deserving me. That's all I ask. This is what love looks like when it's real and complicated and dangerous. Subscribe to Endless Love Stories, because Arya and Ji-Hune's story is about to get even more intense.